Hey everybody, welcome back to another recap and review. This week has been kind of busy, so in an effort to get these videos out on time, I'm just gonna put them together in one video. So this week I'll be talking about both Flash and Arrow, and we'll see how it goes. If people respond to this, then maybe I will continue doing them together, but if not, I'll probably just keep doing them separate videos. Honestly, it really depends on my schedule, so we'll see where it goes. So first we're gonna talk about The Flash, Season 6, Episode 3, entitled There Will Be Blood. If you haven't seen this episode, click away, go watch it on cwtv.com, and then come back here because we were talking full spoilers. All right. Also, I'm going to be doing these movie review style. If you haven't seen my movie reviews before, I usually do like what worked, what didn't work. I'm not going to do like the full recap thing, again, because it's going to be a longer video, so I don't want to like stretch it longer than it has to be. You know what I mean? I don't want to bore you guys, whatever. So what worked? First thing that worked for me was that they did a really good job of building up to Crisis, like emotionally, if that makes sense. Like, we see more characters reacting to the news that Barry is possibly going to die, disappear, however you want to put it. And specifically, we see Joe, Cisco, and Ralph really dealing with learning that their closest friend, brother, son is going to die. And the main one we really see is Cisco. So Barry has decided that, well, we can't save me, but we can try and save somebody else that's also valuable to society. And he believes that's Ramsey Rosso with his science and his medicine and his studying and his research. He believes that we should try and save him, we should try and cure him so that he can still have a positive impact on the world, right? And in order to do this, Nash Wells comes along and says, hey, I can get you this serum from this industries lab, whatever, that will help you with your disease thing in exchange for you all building a circuit for me for some technology he's trying to build, right? And they say, yeah, let's go, let's do it. Now, Cisco has some ulterior motives. He's actually trying to find a way to save Barry, and he believes that this same serum that they're going after is gonna do it for him. So then we see this kind of break-in scene where they try and get it, and Nash Wells leaves them while they get caught, and then comes and like disarms the guards. So we see this cool action scene of Harrison Wells and Nash Wells beating up those guards. And then the weird thing about this was that when they were in the lab, Cisco was able to get the serum, but then he keeps it for himself and then acts like it wasn't there. And that's the only part that was kind of weird for me about this story, is that his plan was that he would take it back to Star Labs where everybody was going to be anyway, where they were going to take it anyway, and then use it secretly to build some kind of thing to save Barry from antimatter or however he's supposed to die. And that part was kind of weird, but what it led to was this really, really intense argument between Cisco and Barry, which I thought was done so well, and both Carlos Valdez and Grant Gustin absolutely kill this scene. You really see them at odds with each other. Cisco just refuses to let Barry go down like this, but Barry's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm trying to save other people. Come on, what are you doing? And like, seeing them go back and forth, and it was just really emotional. It really hit hard, and it really makes you feel like, wow, this is gonna be crazy. Cisco is gonna have to really deal with losing his best friend, possibly. And then another thing that's interesting about this is that Barry reveals that he actually wants Cisco to take over for him as leader when he's gone, which I think is very logical, and actually, that would have made more sense earlier on when Barry first disappeared. Because again, I didn't understand how Iris became in charge. I've told people this before, but like, not that she's a bad character, but I just didn't think she fit as the leader of this whole Team Flash thing, because she was like, at the time, not as involved as everybody, hasn't been involved the longest, and she doesn't have as much experience with it. But in this case, I thought Cisco does make a good future leader, a good, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Successor to Barry, right? But then Barry's like, well, you did this, and now it means like I can't trust you. I thought you were ready, but maybe you're not. And that was like, wow, that hit me in the feels. So they do end up finding out how to make this serum, whatever, and they give it to Ramsey. But what they don't know is that Ramsey is actually almost too far gone. We see his blood powers really getting stronger, which I thought was really creepy. And again, this is like a Halloween episode, so they were kind of going for that anyway. But you see Ramsey like have this glimmer of hope, like, oh wait, this can do it, this can save me, and then it doesn't work. And what he does figure out is that when he absorbs people's blood and he uses his power and does that thing that he did to that guy earlier on, right? That helps heal his body, and that the more blood he gets, the more zombies he creates, the stronger he'll get, and the closer he'll get to saving himself. So he goes to this hospital and just attacks everybody and becomes like a zombie hospital. And I thought this scene was really great, where Killer Frost and Barry go in to try and save these zombie people and take down Ramsey Rosso, and I was like, what? This is crazy, this is amazing. And then he escapes, which I was like, Because at first, where I thought they were going to go is that they're actually going to defeat him early, and then somebody else was going to come in as a villain. Because in previous episodes, we've had hints at other villain characters appearing this season, right, already. So I thought, wow, it'd be interesting that they didn't drag this on like they did Cicada, but then he escaped. So I was like, ah. But what was good was the whole argument or the exchange that they have with Ramsey between when he was like attacking people and before he escaped, right? And it was really interesting because Ramsey is basically explaining, like, I've realized that the problem is not, or the problem is that, like, he says something like, my humanity is the problem. Like, I am not sacrificing other people. I've been trying to save people when really all I got to do is save myself. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of turns on the doctor motto, like, do no harm. And he's like, well, you know what? I just realized the solution to my problem is doing harm and hurting all these people because it'll make me stronger. And so seeing him change over these last few episodes has been really good. And I think they've handled it really well. So even though he escaped, I'm fine with it this time, as long as they don't do it as many times as they did with Cicada, because that was obnoxious. But I think they definitely have a formidable villain this time. Not that other ones weren't, but this one definitely, I think, really like works with the team, or like works against the team emotionally and like power-wise. I feel like he is definitely gonna be a threat. So I can understand him staying around for a little more episodes. I don't think he's probably gonna last the whole season, but maybe I'd say a few more episodes, maybe up to Crisis, and maybe a little after Crisis, or maybe just before Crisis they'll finally defeat him. We'll see where it goes. But that part was great. And the other thing about this episode was Ralph's storyline. Iris is trying to help Ralph with his case. He's trying to find, what's her name again? He's trying to find Dearborn, right? This woman, last name Dearborn, right? And that is going to be his wife in the comics, or that is his wife in the comics, right? But he's trying to find this girl, and then he just gives up all of a sudden. And Iris tries to bring him evidence to help him, and he just doesn't seem down with it. He's like kind of rude to her, and you're like, why is he acting like that? And then later it's revealed that it's because he has to deal with, well, he's like, well, I can't save Barry, so why should I try and save anybody else? Joe's basically like, you can't save everyone. You have to keep fighting, though. You know, that doesn't mean you need to stop what you're doing. You don't mean that you stop trying to save other people. Just keep fighting, right? And I thought that was a really great message. And so, honestly, this episode was like really good. I think this is probably the best episode for me so far. I definitely think this really felt like an old episode of The Flash. It was great conflict here, great action moments, and great superhero moments. So I definitely would probably watch this episode again when I'm binging that season maybe, or way, way further down the line, like if I'm watching the show over again after it's ended. But I definitely thought this was a pretty good episode, and I think it's my favorite so far. So I would say you definitely should watch it if you haven't already, or if you're planning to binge this season, then you should definitely check this one out. Oh, and then last thing, Nash Wells. We figure out that his tech thing is he's building is like a tracker of some kind, and you see him at the end in the sewers, I guess it's sewers, looking for something, and then he does like a little hologram thing, and it shows the monitor walking into this room or something. And so it looks like he's tracking the monitor down for some reason. So he's on to him, and I'm wondering where that's going to lead. Some people are saying that maybe he's going to become, this version of Wells will become Pariah, who is like another DC hero. And we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be the case, or if it's going to be something different, but we'll see where it goes. But I am very intrigued. And again, this episode is doing really well with building up to Crisis. All right. Moving on to Arrow. So this week's episode, Season 8, Episode 3, entitled Leap of Faith. So what worked? I loved the emotional beats of this episode. And I kind of liked a little bit more of the action stuff than the action stuff, because we get a few things happening here. We have Oliver and Thea reuniting, and then Oliver telling her, I'm supposed to die in this crisis, and then showing her a picture of his family and stuff, and that he had to leave them behind to go on this mission for the monitor and all that stuff. And she's like, okay. Like, she doesn't really believe him that he's gonna die. She's like, you always make it out. You've died before, or you've always come close to death, but you always make it out. But he's like, I don't know about this time, man. It might be it. So she's kind of have to deal with that. And then they go on this mission to find more information about the monitor through the League of Assassins, because they have really old records. And then they run into Talia al Ghul, and then this other lady who I don't remember seeing earlier in the series. Maybe she was there before. I feel like she was in the last season. I don't know. I don't remember her. I mean, she probably didn't appear enough for me to remember her, but she's also trying to get this information because it then would allow her to restart the League, and she'd be in charge, right? So then it's kind of becomes this like national treasure race treasure hunt thing. And it's kind of funny too because I feel like they made Oliver kind of the Nick Cage of this group, because at the very beginning they're looking at this map like, oh no, it doesn't tell us what we need, blah blah blah, and he's like, you have to burn it. And it's kind of like Nick Cage when he was like, we have to destroy we have to burn the Declaration of Independence. You know what I mean? Like, or they put the lemon juice on it. Like, they did all this weird stuff to the Declaration of Independence, and it just kind of reminded me of that. But otherwise, that part was like, I mean, it was fine. It was interesting, but I don't think it was the strongest thing they've done so far. But it is great to see Speedy again, Thea. She had great moments in this episode. I do hope she does find her way back into Crisis. Like, I don't know if this was supposed to be her last episode, but I really hope that she can come back again just for the last time to fight with Oliver side by side. And then the other story was Diggle and Lila trying to save Connor Hawke and his mom. And again, the backstory, or the part of this mission, like the guy that they're trying to save him from, that part kind of just flew by. That happened so fast. I'm like, wait, what? Who is this? I guess some guy that they were fighting at some point, and they killed his father, and so he wanted revenge, and he kidnapped Connor Hawke and his mom. But then they save them, which is great. But then we also get this moment with Diggle where he basically says, I can't do things the way I used to, because I saw a whole other universe, whole other Earth crumble in front of me. That just changes you. I'm just not the same. And so we now see Diggle dealing with Crisis in his own way, like dealing with what this could mean for the rest of the universe, for the people he loves, for the Earth that he lives on. Like, seeing another Earth crumble like really shook him, which makes sense because that's like a huge event. And so we're gonna see how that affects him later on in the series. And then we have the future flashbacks. I liked this part especially because we saw this nice moment between Mia and William. Again, at this point I hadn't cared too much for it. Like, there were some good parts in the future storyline, but as of this season, it was kind of eh. But this episode was really interesting because we see them go against JJ, John Diggle Jr., head on. They go to his base and break in and try and catch him off guard. And what's really nice about it is that as they're like getting ready and William's on the computer doing whatever his hacking, Mia, you can see, is like very protective of him. And then she just admits that, like, you're the only family I have left. I can't let anything happen to you. And they have this really sweet moment where William's like, you know what? I know that, but like, you gotta let me do my thing. I like that you're protecting me, but you know, I got stuff to do. And they have this really nice moment, and then Mia's like, if you tell anybody we had this moment, I'm gonna kill you myself. And I thought that was really sweet. So again, even though I'm not like totally down for these characters, I thought that was a really nice moment. And then we had the final battle where Zoe gets killed, and I was like, what? Out of all the future characters, she was definitely one of my favorites, so it was sad to see her go. And seeing like everybody react to was like really heartbreaking though, because it just came out of nowhere. I did not expect any of them to die this soon. But what this leads to is the craziest part of the episode, which I was like screaming like, oh my goodness, they did it. The part that I was asking for happened. So everybody in their respective timelines is chilling, whatever. Mia has Zoe's dead body. There's Connor about to beat up JJ for what he did. William watching from the computer screen like in tears. And then this flashlight happens. And then Oliver sees this flashlight. And then Diggle sees this flashlight. And then they all end up in the Arrow Cave. I forgot what the actual name of it. I guess we'll call it the Arrow Base or whatever. And then we see Earth 1, Dinah there, Renee there, Diggle, Oliver. And then Oliver's like, guys, what's going on? And then you see Renee kind of look behind Oliver like, I'm trying to figure that out myself. And then he turns around. And then the 3 future kids are there. Like, they got transported to the past. And then we see William's face where he's like almost in tears, like in shock. And then Mia says, Dad? And I was like, so now we're gonna see a team up episode between the future team and the past team. And I was like, yes, this is what we need. Now, what I don't know is if they're gonna be there until Crisis or are they gonna leave before that. But I really hope they do stay till Crisis, because I think this is what the future storyline needed, is this little jolt of energy, you know, something to really get it exciting, because it was kind of falling off for me. But this might have saved it for me. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm really excited to see how this all leads to Crisis, because I think in terms of developing everything and leading up to it, both The Flash and Arrow are doing really good in building up to Crisis, both emotionally, with the storylines, with the characters, like everything I think so far has been on point leading to Crisis. So I'm really excited to see how it all wraps up. So, have you seen Arrow and Flash this week? What did you think? Let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.